What is up, everyone? It's Kanan,
It's Jessie.
and we are back with RWBY, though it's not RWBY Volume 9, but, yes, this is the start of what we're calling Retro RWBY. We are going to go through the early part of the series, starting with the red trailer, and ending with the one chapter of Volume 7 we did not get to film, which was Chapter 1, and we struggled with how to explain what these are, because you can't really call them reactions because we've seen these before, though it's been a while since I've really sat down and watched the early volumes, and straight up paid attention. And I will say, in RWBY, even though I've seen it before, there's still stuff I pick up that I didn't realize before.
Yeah, especially knowing what we do now, going back and seeing what connects and what makes sense that is in the later chapters.
Yes,
or little Easter eggs that we missed the first time.
Yes, and that's mostly what this is. We're going to look at plot points and all that, and how they started and how they eventually ended, or ones that still haven't ended even as of the end of Volume 8. So I guess you could call these kind of watch-alongs, but also they're going to kind of be like a discussion as well, because we will pause during the episode if we really want to talk about something. And also, this just puts the rest of the series on our channel. Real quick plug, if you guys still have not picked up the Volume 5 of the manga anthology Shine that covers Team Juniper, go get this book. It is really, really good. Alrighty, so, you got anything you want to add before we start this journey? Alrighty, let's do this. You ready, potato chip dip? That's an end joke. Well, we may talk about it at the end of the video. Okay, here we go. The red trailer. Oh, as we're recording this, on this day, this is the 8th anniversary of Volume 1, Chapter 1 airing, and we're going to be watching Chapter 1 of Volume 1 today, so we must have been destined to do this today. We didn't know that until we got up and saw. So that's kind of wild, yeah. So, one thing I quickly want to say is that Red Like Roses, this first version, still gives me goosebumps to this day. And the fact about how young Casey was. And here's the thing, though. Ruby's got a cross on her. And I'm wondering if that is supposed to be what would eventually become her rose emblem. Because she no longer wears the cross, and it's where her rose is now. Oh, here we go. Goes right into Yang's part. Man, this brings back memories. So apparently, these wolves are meant to be Beowulfs, but in this early version, they just kept them as wolves to go with Ruby's Little Red Riding Hood inspiration. I gotta say, a lot of people still talk bad about the early volumes and the animation, but there's parts of it that still work.
Yeah.
I remember watching this and, not knowing anything. I was just like, is it the apocalypse? What's going on? It seems like her bullets let off rose petals as well. They didn't keep that for some reason that I know of. They still use the rose petals, but not as much as this.
No, the rose petals are like the blood. It's not
Oh, okay. Oh, is that what it's supposed to be?
That's what, yeah.
I never heard that.
Look.
See? You learn something new every day about this darn series. Man, what's this animation? It was like seeing this in, I think, 2012, I believe. This was cutting edge at that point. Really. This was I will have to say, even though I love Yang's fighting style because I'm more into brawlers, I think RWBY's is the most intense. Her fighting style. Just, whew. All golly. Yep. And that was the Red trailer. The first glimpse we got into RWBY. I don't want to say that the other trailers are not as good, but RWBY's just... It was so action-packed in a way, and just... It's over before you know it. I was like, man, this trailer's over 3 minutes long, and it's over before you even know it, because it goes with her semblance of how fast she is. And yeah, I just now noticed too, this art, she still has the cross on her belt, and that was eventually replaced by her rose emblem. So that's interesting. It makes you wonder if they didn't have her emblem ready yet at that time.
Maybe, or maybe it was just she took on her mother's.
Maybe. I don't. That's yeah. We'll see. Well, let's get on to the white trailer. All right. So our first look at Weiss. Let's get right into it. Everyone is entitled to their own sorrow, for the heart has no metrics or formula. I cannot read that fast. But I like that they started doing that with the other girls. Give us a little... That voice is apparently Jeff Williams. So he is the first voice we hear in RWBY. But I like that they did that. It gives you an insight of each character. Besides RWBY. RWBY didn't get one. So when I first saw this, I was kind of shocked that Weiss could sing. I don't know why. One of the best Weiss songs. Weiss has one of those voices where her singing voice sounds differently than her speaking voice. When she talks, she sounds like Kara. When she sings, she sounds like Casey. So, I love this fight. I really do. And I remember the first time I saw Weiss fight here and saw her weapon, I was like, so she's a fencer? Because that's kind of like her fighting style. It's fencing in a way. It's very intense fencing. And of course, we would later find out that this was kind of a test for her. And this is how she got her knight. And her scar. Going for the legs. And, you know, we got to see her glyphs for the first time. You know, we didn't know what glyphs were. So it's like, wow, what is this? Yep, she's an opera singer. She's many things. Yep. See, to me, Weiss looks so cool with the blood on her face. Now, when I first saw this, I was like, it turns into a lightsaber. That's what I thought. But we get to see, you know, dust being used and all that. Yeah, I just remember going, man, the sword is glowing several colors. God, when's the last time you've seen these trailers?
God, it's been forever.
And she gets her own little pose in front of the moon. And she is victorious, and she gets the knight. And we learn how she got her scar. Now, this ending shot, I always thought, you know, after we learned more about Weiss, how her standing on this stage, wow, look at that early moon. This kind of reflects her actual loneliness. That little curtsy. But yeah, what we learned for it, it's like, you know, I wonder if that's foreshadowing about, you know, despite her being the Schnee heiress, about, like, really how lonely her life has been, because of what we learned, how her father is like, her mother, her brother, her sister left to join the military, who really we learned was probably the biggest support she ever had, and that was gone. And so there's definitely a lot of early story hints in these trailers, and I think that's definitely one of them, just to show how lonely she is.
I ended up seeing the trailers a lot later though, but I was told when to watch them. So, but it's definitely been a long time.
I think this is the first time I've watched them in a good couple of years.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's on to Blake. All right, so here we are with the Black trailer, which not only introduced us to Blake, but Adam, of course, as well. If only we knew while seeing this trailer for the first time what a pain he was going to become. But, this is a bit longer than the other two trailers, 5 minutes and 17 seconds, so let's get into it. Your hopes have become my burden. I will find my own liberation. That's very Blake.
Yeah.
That is very much Blake's story. God, looking at this and seeing how the show looks now,
yeah,
it's like night and day. Man, how far RWBY has come. I've always loved this song. Lovely Blake. Oh, gosh.
It's time.
Wow, Adam sounds so different.
Okay.
Poor Erin. She said, I wish I could go back and re-voice all of Volume 1 and all that. She's not very happy with her performance in these early volumes. I do like the color palette we're going for here, all the red and all that. Now, yeah, that kind of looks a little rough in some respects, but I will admit I do like this whole train sequence. It's really cool. Train sequences are usually always pretty intense.
Looks like we're gonna be doing this the hard way.
It just doesn't... You can tell that...
Don't be so dramatic.
That as the series went, they got better as voice talent.
Intruder, identify yourself.
Yeah, I remember I was like, he has a gun that shoots swords. That's what I thought when I first saw that. I remember being so confused about Blake's weapon at first because it's like she's using it like that now. And I was like, she can use the sheath as a weapon? And then, she actually takes out the katana version. I was like, oh, okay. Dual wielding. Sweet.
she's always my favorite thing.
I think when I first watched this, like, of course, I had no idea what Faunus were. But she already moves like a cat. She really does. God, it's so cool. She makes it look better. A lot of cuts in this one, like, cut to another scene. Way more than the others.
Perfect. Move up to the next car. I'll set the charges.
What about the crew members?
What about them?
So yeah, we're all... I just noticed there's a Schnee logo on the boxes in the back, but you can already tell that he's going one way, and it's a way that she doesn't want to go. But, hindsight being 2020, at this point, Blake has already decided she's going to leave after this mission. Oh yeah, remember everyone using this fight as a way of saying how strong Adam is when this robot does not have an aura. Yeah, when I first saw that, I got confused. I was like, wait, what the heck did she shoot it with? I will admit, this is a really cool visual. Like, all this is really cool looking. But we would see that again. Boy, these running animations. Yep.
Bye.
Yep. I love how she kind of says in a way she's kind of like fed up, like, goodbye. She's not like, ribbon goes in front of her face a little bit there, but I love how this faded out. You know, into darkness in a way. But that was the black trailer that introduced us to Blake. A lot more going on in that than you would say the first two trailers. A lot more story in a way. Well, upfront story. Which, of course, no, it's a trailer. We didn't have a clue what was going on.
It needed to be built that way, because that way it gave you, okay, there's something more here. Like, this obviously is linked to somewhere in some parts of her life. So
yeah. And, you know, what we know now, you know, there's a lot of heavy stuff going on there, you know, after what we know now. But, you know, at the time, it was just like, you know, like at that time, since you don't know the story, you're just thinking, wow, this show's going to have some amazing fighting in it. That's all you really knew what to look forward to. All right, we got one more trailer to go, and it is my favorite character in RWBY. Let's move to the yellow trailer, where we got introduced to Yang. Alrighty, the yellow trailer. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say, I think the character that changed the most from the early trailers to the actual show is Yang, because I think Yang acts really different in this trailer than she acts in the actual show. Like, I don't know if maybe they were still figuring Yang out.
They were probably still figuring a lot of things out.
Because don't you agree she comes off way... Like, I know early in the series they were passing her off as the party girl, but don't you kind of think that was really only prevalent in this early trailer than it was? Like, I get...
because the thing is, like... things that were said, you know, they had to find them. They had to figure each other out. Things. So, and a lot of the characters.
And I mean, I'm not saying that no, Yang doesn't like to go out and all that, because, I mean, even as of Volume 7, she still likes to go out dancing, but she comes off way flirty in this, and that just... It
seems a little too not Yang.
Yeah, because...
So, I think this is just early, and this is obviously before they really figured out how to to put her, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like, Yang just comes off so different in this than but then again, in Volume 1, Yang doesn't really have much of a presence in Volume 1. She's kind of just the older sister in a way. Yang wouldn't really get developed until Volume 2. But so yeah.
Which I can understand. That's why they didn't put her at the front of trying to just cement who she was at first.
Yeah.
They had to try things to see what was going to work first.
I do love that Yang has the longest trailer at almost 6 minutes. So let's get with the yellow trailer. Okay, I never fully read. Scathing Eyes asks that we be symmetrical, one-sided, and easily processed, yet every misshapen spark's unseen beauty is greater than its would-be judgment. Okay. Does kind of sound like Yang a bit. And it's Bumblebee, the bike.
I want to build one just for photo shoot purposes.
Already walking with confidence. Holy crap, I never noticed that. Was that Raven?
It probably was.
Was that Raven? I always love this, of her walking in like this. But was that? I just...
It looked like it could have been Raven. It would make sense.
This little remixed version of Red Like Roses. I will say, the DJ wearing the bear head, it reminds me of Danganronpa all the time. Oh look, it's Roman.
And that planted the
Yep.
seed for that.
Strawberry sunrise. No ice. Oh, and one of those little umbrellas.
Aren't you a little young to be in this club, Blondie?
Aren't you a little old to have a name like Junior?
Yeah, see, she just doesn't act like this later.
Yeah.
You know, it's just...
Yes, Junior, I've got several. But instead of sweetheart, you could just call me Sir. People say you know everything. Tell me where I could find her and I'll let you go.
I've never seen her.
I forgot who they said that this is who the actual picture is of, but I think it's supposed to be Raven,
Looks like we
but I'm
have
not
an
sure.
audience. This must be kind of embarrassing.
It kind of
for
looks
you,
like the
huh?
picture
Awkward.
Listen,
I had.
Blondie, sir, if you want to make it out of this club alive,
She's got a hold of your jewels and you're threatening her. This dude's got an axe. He is literally about
the
to...
other one.
Junior,
They're-
I was just playing with you. Don't be so sensitive. Come on, let's kiss and make up, okay?
This idiot falling for this. After what she just did, you're going to fall for this?
I forgot about that.
Ow. And this is where we get to see Yang be the badass that she is. Boom.
I can kind of get why they did the blurriness though, just because she obviously was using it to get what she wanted.
Yeah. But then again, that's when they go to the back to this bar later in the actual show, she doesn't act like this at all.
No, she still has the confidence, but she doesn't
Yeah.
have the.
She's more forceful
Yeah.
than anything. So
Mommy, who is this girl?
I wish they would bring these two back, because this is a cool fight. So cool. It's funny, if you watch this, at one point in this fight, I believe, see, she's already using her semblance a little. Yeah, this fight literally looks like they're dancing in a way. Watch this. Yeah, look. It kind of reminds me of they're dancing.
I feel a little bit of DVR was inspired there, which wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, they use like parts of each song in this until we finally hear I Burn. That's not gonna work. Once again, driving the fact that everything in RWBY is a weapon, that is a gun as well. It's a bazooka and it's a mace. Yep. Going Super Saiyan. And I remember first time seeing this, I was like, she can go Super Saiyan? Oh, we learned about the hair. Which they haven't used in a long time. Boom. Like that was extra mad. And here's where we learn.
Yang? Is that you? Oh, hey, sis. What are you
That
doing here?
Ruby and Yang are sisters. I always wondered right here if there was any significance here with how the moon, and I guess it's supposed to be like the sun setting. If there was any like, if there's something that's trying to be told here. I don't know. But yeah, we would learn in this that at least Ruby and Yang were related, you know, and all that. So yeah, definitely, probably my favorite trailers because, like, I remember watching it and just geeking out because I thought she went Super Saiyan, and being a huge Dragon Ball fan. I was also happy to see a character that was going to be in this show that used their hands and feet. Because, like I said, I'm a huge fan of, like, you know, brawler type characters that use their hands and feet. So yeah, well, that's the trailers. It's time to move on to RWBY Volume 1, Chapter 1, Ruby Rose. Let's move on over there. Alright, so how we're going to do these, for the first episode, I think we both agreed just to do the original trailers plus Chapter 1, Volume 1. After this, especially with these early Volume 1 episodes that are really short, like less than 10 minutes long, we may do up to 4 episodes in one episode, and then when we get into the longer ones, it'll depend. I think the least we'll do in one episode, maybe 2, especially when we get into like the ones that are close to 30 minutes. But, yeah, so Volume 1, Chapter 1, Ruby Rose, 8 years ago today, this came out. I remember watching this on dial-up internet, and even watching a video that's only 12 minutes long, that was torture.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, it's no secret that I came in later, so I didn't have to worry about the dial-up internet, but I had definitely seen stuff start to pop up about this, and I don't know. At the time, I wasn't sure, but...
Alrighty, well, let's get into it.
Legends. Stories.
Of course, we didn't know this yet, but this is Salem. That just screams Wizard of Oz to me. That screams the Emerald City.
Remnants, byproducts of a forgotten past.
Yeah, we get a little bit of backstory here.
Strong, wise, and resourceful. But he was born into an unforgiving world.
Shadow person already.
An inevitable darkness, creatures of destruction. The creatures of Grimm set their sights on man and all of his creations. These forces clashed, and it seemed the darkness was intent on returning man's brief existence.
We don't get everything here, though. We have to wait a while before we get more.
Is enough to ignite change. And in time, man's passion, resourcefulness, and ingenuity led them to the tools that would help even the odds.
Yep.
This power was appropriately named Dust.
Yep.
Nature's wrath in hand, man lit their way through the darkness.
But we don't know yet that magic did used to exist.
And most importantly, life.
The map that came from a ketchup stain.
Flicker and die.
Wow. And there is good old Roman. I think he was the perfect villain for these early volumes because he's not like so much stronger than the girls at this point to where he would overpower them easily, but he's a crook, and that's kind of a perfect villain for heroes in training. From dusk till dawn.
Victory is in the simpler things that you've long forgotten.
And then there's Ospen, who we didn't know at the time. And there she is, reading a weapons magazine. Oh, boy. I'm still trying to understand, like, what's the difference between dust when it's still a crystal and when it's actually in dust form.
Please, just take my leave and leave.
Shopkeep, you're way stronger than that. We all know. Yeah. We all know by now.
Grab the dust.
Now, even though I've never seen A Clockwork Orange, I knew the moment I saw him, I was like, yeah, that's the inspiration there, because he looks exactly like...
Burn on your cut.
Uh-huh. Just leave her alone.
Put your hands where I can see them.
Yeah, like, what are you going to do holding up a little girl? Like, really?
You got a death wish or something?
She is so not threatened.
Yes?
I said, put your hands in the air, now.
Are you?
I love that.
Yes.
She is not worrying at all. Sorry, shopkeep, I'm gonna bust your window. Aw.
While they're examining the window.
Yeah, they're like, huh? This was one of the best character intros ever. And we never saw the headset again.
No.
Okay. Get her.
Even though she just whooped both of you guys' asses. That running animation. Yeah, I really do think I love Ruby's fighting style the most. Just because it's so fast. It's so intense. And the fact that she can wield this very heavy scythe.
You were worth every cent. Truly you were.
Well, Red, I think we can all say it's been
I will say, Roman, not very
and as much as I'd love
creative
to
with
stick
the
around,
nicknames.
I'm afraid this is where we part.
Like how hard was it to come up with Red for a girl with a red hood? Man, these early volumes just...
You okay if I go after him?
He's fine, trust us.
Hey!
Yeah, he's pretty much the Joker to Ruby's Batman, pretty much. I mean... Not bad win through the hair animations, I will say, for this early in the series. I'm gonna throw fire dust at you, just stand there. Because that's what she was gonna do. And then we get to meet Glinda. Hot mom energy. And our first glimpse at Cinder. Though they do the whole mysterious villain thing with her and not show her face.
Yeah.
I'm really thinking, I hate to say it, but I sometimes wonder if Glinda could have, like, taken this thing down if she hadn't had to worry about Ruby.
Probably.
So so Cinder right now has got at least half of the maiden power by now. She doesn't have all of it. Is there any way Glinda could have taken her here? Because she does pretty well. See? Like she
could have at least taken
the ship
them
down.
yeah.
I think she was worried about Ruby though, that
But it also doesn't help it's a moving target.
Ruby's like, I gotta do something. I gotta do something. I do it. Yeah, see, she had to do that, and that's what gave him enough time to get away. Though I think Cinder noticed that, so it intentionally put...
You're a huntress. Can I have your autograph?
I hope
That doesn't sound like Ruby.
Take it lightly, young lady. You put yourself and others in great danger.
They started it!
To me,
The typical
you said
response.
it.
They started it.
With a pat on the back and a slap on the wrist.
Is that a promise?
But there is someone here who would like to meet you.
And our first meeting with Ozpin.
Ruby Rose. You have silver eyes.
So already in the first episode, they plant that silver eyes is something unique, at least.
Academy?
Though we wouldn't really see it utilized until Volume 3, but...
Well, one teacher in particular.
Uh-huh.
I see.
Watch these cookies just disappear out of thin air. I'm sorry. Though watch her jaws do get engorged, though.
Skill before. A dusty old crow.
That's my uncle. Sorry.
I'm surprised she didn't choke.
I know.
He's a teacher at Signal. I was complete garbage before he took me under his wing, and now I'm all like...
That early Ruby comedy. That is
And what is an adorable girl such as yourself doing at a
easy there,
school designed to
Ozpin.
train warriors?
Well, I I want to be a huntress.
You want to
That reminds me of Final Fantasy X and Yuna.
Yeah.
I want to become a
I only
summoner.
have 2 more years of training left at Signal.
You'd have to
and then
play
I'm
it.
going to apply to Beacon. See, my sister's starting there this year, and she's trying to become a huntress, and I'm trying to become a huntress because I want to help people. And my parents always taught us to help others, so I thought, oh, maybe we'll make a career out of it. I mean, the police are all right, but husband and huntresses are just.
I just love the her animation of just using her hands to talk.
I do that.
Yeah, you do.
Do you know who I am?
You're Professor Ozpin.
Why, yes, I just so
You're the
happen to
headmaster
know.
at Beacon.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
You want to come to my school?
More than anything.
And it's that simple.
Well, okay.
Okay. Why not?
Oh, I can't believe my baby sister's.
And we learn really quickly that Yang's hugs hurt.
Please stop. I'm so proud of you. Billy says it was nothing. What do you mean? It was incredible. Everyone at Beacon is gonna think you're the bee's knees.
The bee's
I don't wanna
knees.
be the bee's
Ah,
knees.
shadow
I
people.
don't want to be any kind of knees. I just want to be a normal girl with normal knees. What's with you? Aren't you excited? Of course I'm excited. I just
Well, Yang, at this time, you're an 11. You need to come down to about a 9. That is one thing about early Yang. She was very go, 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 go. Like, I always wondered what Ruby would have been like if it had been animated like Roman is right here.
Back to you, Lisa.
Thank you, Cyril. In
Oh,
other
look,
news,
Lisa
this
Lavender.
Saturday's Faunus Civil Rights
Our first
protest
mention
turned
of
dark
Faunus
when members of the White
and the White
Fang
Thing.
disrupted the ceremony. The once peaceful organization has now disrupted.
We interrupt this broadcast.
Hello and welcome to Beacon.
Glinda, you're just talking to 3
My
people.
name is Glinda Goodwich.
That awkward moment when you ask a question, it gets answered like a second later. If you had just waited.
Our world is experiencing
But yeah, I always make a
an
joke that she,
incredible time of peace.
since all these shadow
As future
people,
huntsmen and
the only
huntresses,
people she's really talking
it
to is
your
Ruby,
duty
Yang,
to
and
help.
John.
You have demonstrated the courage needed for such a task.
The one shadow
And
person
now
standing
it
there
is
kind
our
of
turn to
resembled
provide
Pyrrha.
you with the knowledge
Well, they reused,
I know, but I'm
yeah,
just.
they reused models.
And the one looked like Ren, so I'm wondering
Okay.
if maybe.
So right there, even in this early episode, Ruby's facial animation is really fluid at that moment when she brightens up. Boy, it's all dark. It looks
I guess home isn't.
It looks
too far after all.
like just
Beacons
creepy.
are home now.
Oh, John, the vomit boy is born.
Well, I guess the view isn't for everyone. It was a nice moment while it lasted. I
Yeah.
wonder who we're gonna meet.
God, it looks
I just hope they're
hand-drawn.
better than Vomit Boy. Oh, yay, gross! You have puke on your shoe.
How? How? As he walked by, did puke fly out of his mouth? Oh, well, that's chapter 1. And to this day, one of my all-time favorite songs and one of my favorite intros. And I'm still wondering if there's still some story here with Summer that we don't know about. Like, is I don't know. If only we knew what was really beginning here. We're only going to watch the intro once through each volume. And I love how it shows Roman like he's the villain, then a greater villain that is Cinder. But we don't know at this time there's a greater villain. Ah, Pyrrha. Back when times were simpler. Created by Monty Ohm. We still miss you to this day, Monty. And that is the first episode of RWBY, yes, but our first episode of RWBY Retro. Like I said, we're going to be covering the rest of Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, the Volume 4 character short, all of Volume 4, the Volume 5 character shorts, Volume 5, Volume 6 character short, 6, and then we'll end with Volume 7, Chapter 1.
All
Hopefully,
it took was this episode, and I was gone.
I mean, you, me, and millions of other people. And, you know, I said earlier today on Twitter that, 8 years ago this all started. it's definitely changed our lives. It's one of the best stories in animation I've ever seen. Just how deep it is. Now, of course, you can't tell that really in this first episode, because the first episode, and really the next couple of episodes are kind of introduction episodes. You get to introduced to characters and all that. It's not till a bit later when the story really starts blossoming up. But and just think, this came from a time when these episodes were like less than 10 minutes long.
Yeah, and it was, I mean...
And now you have Volume 8 where every single episode is at least 20 minutes long. Like, it's
started as a web show, and look where it's at now.
Yeah, like it's
been amazing to see it grow. Like,
yeah, I mean, hopefully we get all this done before Volume 9 airs. That way, you know, us on the channel will be fully caught up. That way, if you want to journey with us through all of RWBY, by the time Volume 9 gets here, you'll be able to. There are some...
The sooner we move, the faster we can move.
Yeah. I did tell Jess that we need to go back to our Volume 7 reactions and, like, fix up at least the titles of them, because it was very early in our YouTube career, and, you know...
Hey, we all look back on our first videos and go, ugh.
Yeah, but, like, they're titled, like, RWBY VOL 7 CH 1, you know, or 2, or what. Like, we really need to go back and, like, add the actual titles to it and all that. But hope you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully this does well enough to you know, keep on doing this. It's something RWBY related to do while we wait for Volume 9 to come. But if you enjoyed it, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, click that like button, leave us a comment. You know, tell your stories of first watching these for the first time. You know, and just how much RWBY you know, the show plus RWBY as a character grows as we continue. And, you know, it's just, it makes me happy that, you know, the later volumes are finally getting a Japanese release, because everybody deserves to enjoy the show. And, you know, we don't know how fast these will be up, because they got to get blocked and then unblocked and all that. But we'll try and put up a new episode at least once a week. And, yeah. As always, guys, this is Kanan.
This is Jessie.
We love you all very, very much. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. And we will see you in the next one. Bye.